Deal packaging is a property strategy that I used to make over £100,000 in 2022. Not only was it my first ever source of income to earn me over £10,000 in a single month, but it helped me to quit my job over 12 months ago. It's helped me to build a business which I'm truly passionate about, which is Property X, and to find some fantastic buy-to-lets for my own portfolio. Now, deal packaging is also known as deal sourcing, but what does that actually mean? Well, in the most traditional method of buying property, there is a house on one side, there is an estate agent in the middle, and then there is a buyer on the other side. The estate agent is helping the seller sell the property to the buyer. Now with deal packaging, this is almost the same, except the estate agent is no longer in the middle, or the estate agent is no longer selling the house. But now the deal packager is helping on the buyer's side, and they're helping the buyer go out there, find and buy a property. So they essentially become the middleman. So what types of property deal are there? Because this is where there is so much variation, and it depends on really what the sourcer wants to actually focus on finding as part of their service. And that's because it could really be, anything from single lets to HMOs to service accommodation to land to could even be garages. And these properties can be found on market, or they can be found off market, and they can be found at market value, or obviously, because clients prefer this, below market value. And the value from the sourcing service, in my opinion, really comes from a few main factors. And that is the time and the effort that is required to find, view and have an offer accepted on a property. It's the price that the property has been secured for, and it's the type of service that the sourcer offers the client. Whether that's, doing the turnkey service, finding a property that is ready to rent, whether it's the buy, refurbish, refinance type of deal or strategy, and then it's whether they actually do any add-on services, such as the project management and kind of that overall end-to-end service. Now, let's say that we grade these clients A, B, and C, and that a grade A client, perhaps the client that sees most value from our service, is someone that's very busy, they've got a full-time job or perhaps a business, a busy family life, and they have no spare time. And therefore they perceive and get a lot of value from this service because they've worked hard or they've built a business which is earning a lot of money for them, and they'd never have the opportunity to be able to invest this in property without the sourcing service available. They are a grade A client because this service is grade A to them, because we're helping them do everything. Them never having the ability to go and do viewings, do trips, make offers, and we're taking that all off their plate. We're finding good deals, and then we can even help with the hand over to a letting agent, the refurb, etc., etc. And if that's a grade A client, well, a grade B client isn't too different, but they are still busy people, but they are perhaps able to make some time, or perhaps they're investing a little closer to home and they can manage some of this themselves. So they still very much value the fact that we might be able to find them a great property deal. They still value that and want that service, but there's the opportunity for them to be able to jump in along the way. Maybe they might be able to manage the refurb themselves. Maybe they might find the letting agent themselves, and they've got a reasonable amount of knowledge to do so. And therefore still value in the finding and the sourcing of the deal, but not as much value as in the overall service, because they have a bit of time or a bit of expertise available to throw at this. And then we have the grade C client, who is able to do a large portion of the works, is able to do perhaps even viewings and offers themselves. Maybe they can do all the refurb management themselves, and perhaps they don't live that far away again, so they're just looking for a bit of help with finding the property. So they still value it a bit, because if we find them a cracking deal at the end of the day and our fee is absorbed within the finding of that deal, within the numbers on that deal, they still value it, but just not to the same extent that perhaps grade A and grade B did. And that's really kind of how you can grade the kind of clients. And that when you are talking to people, you can start to understand how much someone values it based off of what they require or how much time they have available to throw at this. So at this point in the video, I think it's very useful to actually share some of the benefits or the reasons why, if you're watching this, why you should perhaps think about doing deal packaging or sourcing. And that's because I got started in property first, and then I went into sourcing because I wanted to actually leave my job. I wanted to create an income, and I realized that I could do that through property, but it would take me property after property after property, and the timeline on that might be 3 years, 5 years, or might be 10 years. Whereas I wanted 3 months, 6 months, or maximum 12 months. And therefore I wanted to be able to quit my job sooner, earn a good income sooner, and continue to build my portfolio. And the only way I was able to do that was by sourcing properties and offering that service to people. And that's where I believe this could be a benefit to you if you're in a similar situation. Or perhaps you've not even in a situation where you've bought a couple of properties for your portfolio and you're thinking, well, I haven't got enough capital or enough experience. How can I get into this? And that's the point in which this is really valuable to you, because as a deal packager or sourcer, you can go out there and you can start to find properties, but for other people. So you're effectively finding properties with other people's money and experience. And providing you can find great deals, you can become a sourcer first, build up your own capital, take that money to invest in properties further down the line. And that's not the only benefit. There's a few other ones to cover, okay? So you don't need a mortgage, and I do see that as a benefit if you're getting started. You also don't need a huge amount of capital, and you also don't need much experience. Although, as a caveat, I think having a good level of knowledge and experience and being able to present a deal properly to clients is pivotal in my opinion. There's also the charging part, the fee. And of course you can charge a decent level fee if you can find good deals, okay? The majority of sourcers charge anywhere from £2,500 over to like £5,000, depending on the property and the service. Charge £5,000, do 20 deals in a year, well, that's £100,000 in a year. So deal packaging is great for cash flow. And obviously property investing is where the true wealth is built, but deal packaging is a really good way of accessing money and experience quickly, and then over time you can take that active money and you can put it over to buying your own property investments, building your own wealth over the longer term. So if you've got to the point of this video and you're thinking, how can I get started today? Perhaps you're watching this video and you're literally thinking, I want to start right now, and I want to become a sourcer, I want to become a deal packager. What can you do? Well, first of all, we need to get you out there networking, okay? Going to live events, networking evenings, awards, whatever it is, you need to find investors and also find other sources. Because let's give you the scenario where you might meet another sourcing business or company. They're not an enemy, they're not to be feared. In fact, they are someone that you can go to and say, listen, I know you've got a sourcing business and it's successful. I can see you've got clients. What if I bring you great deals? Because then you have the opportunity of working together and maybe even splitting the fee. The other side of that is of course the investors, which you do need to start getting yourself in front of, and you can do that at these events. Now, networking doesn't just come down to live events. We've also got the beautiful thing, which is social media. So utilize social media, promote your services, but really promote you as a person. The deals that you're finding, the fact that you're out there active every day, and you will start to get noticed. The second thing, and perhaps one of the most important things, is to get good at finding great deals. Because if you can just find great properties, well, that's where the value and the money is attached to. Without great deals, well, there is no such thing as sourcing or deal packaging. So just get really good at finding good deals, whether they're on market, off market. You just need to be able to negotiate properties to a price in which a buyer sees that and thinks, I've got to buy that deal. And at this point, for number 3, we need to start thinking about getting compliant, because if you are a sourcer and you are finding good deals, and perhaps you're even starting to sell them to some investors, well, you need to think about this from a business aspect. And us as sourcers, deal packagers, are actually considered in the eyes of the law a lot like estate agents, where we should be part of some kind of governing body. We should be part of some redress scheme. There should be somewhere where someone can go if they want to complain about us, which hopefully doesn't ever happen. But not only that, but we also have to take things like AML checks, anti-money laundering checks, very seriously. And last but not least, now that you're finding great deals, now that you are selling them perhaps to another source's investors, and now that you are compliant, well, to really finish that off, you need to think about yourself and your own business in order to earn the full fee, in order to earn more money from this essentially, and to have more control over your business, is to have your own investors, have your own investor database. And of course, you can start finding properties for your own clients, earning more money, and obviously then you can start to reinvest more of that into your own business. So if you are going to try deal packaging, then follow the steps in this video. Drop me a message if you've got any questions, and in fact drop a question or a comment in the comments box below, because other people might see this and actually reach out to you. Thanks for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next video.